What's up, YouTube? Back at you real quick with another really quick video. Just wanted to come and give a quick update to the 71 Chevelle build resto mod with the Dakota digital dash install, Terminator X Max, and just some other little odds and ends that I've been dealing with here for a little bit. I think on my last video I showed the Terminator or the Dakota Digital RTX that I just installed, and the install was easy, the setup was easy. It wasn't too difficult to get that thing going, but I did have a few challenges, man. I ain't gonna lie. I did have a few challenges. Hold on for a second here. Let's see. So yeah, I did have a few challenges with not with the install, but after it was installed. And I was talking to my son. I actually called him over to come give me some advice or let me know what he thinks I should do. Yeah. Hold on, YouTube. I'll be back with you in a minute. All right, Tube, I'm back. So, yeah, I didn't have any issues with the install. It was just after I got everything installed and I was going through some of the settings and so forth and whatnot. But anyway, I called my boy over because he's been dealing with these and working on these cars for a long time. And we ran through it, tried everything, couldn't figure it out. So the problem that I had, let me see if I can get in here. The problem that I had was, so you can see here's my Dakota Digital RTX gauges. You can see over here I got my Terminator X and my my BIM module and my Dakota Digital box all over here in the corner. And man, I'm so upset because I had my wires were all pretty darn looking nice. You can even see up here. Now they just look like they're just all over the place. And I was just so frustrated with that, but I'll get to that. But anyway, you see my dash is right here. Now the problem that I had is once I got everything connected, everything worked fine. I was able to do all my settings. I had my oil pressure, all that was dialed into the BIM module, which also was reading off of my 3.5 screen here. Everything was in sync and it was all going good. And then I happened to step on my brakes. When I pressed on the brakes, my two turn signal lights illuminated. And I was like, oh man, that's weird, and it was just a headache, man. It kept doing it. I checked all my grounds. I got online. I did a bunch of research and trying to figure out if anybody else has had problems. Everywhere I saw online, there was a problem. Everywhere I saw online was someone that had a problem with either a glitch or blinkers not coming on or blinkers not going off or whatever, something on the dash was coming on with the Dakota Digital and with just the standard gauges. Everybody was saying, check your grounds. It's a ground. That's what grounds do, or bad grounds do. So they said, check your ground. Man, I went through this whole car. I checked the ohms on every single ground. Even after that, I disconnected one ground at a time to see if that would fix it. That didn't fix it. And it would just went on. It was like maybe 2 or 3 days of just troubleshooting. As you can see, I took all my wiring out to make sure my wire was right. Now, granted, all that was pretty nicely loomed up before I put my dash in. But once I put the dash in, I didn't have access to it. And man, it was a pain putting this dash in. So I was not taking that dash back out. So I just start opening up wires in between the dash and where the wires were tucked in. with the dash in, and it was frustrating me because I knew I wasn't going to be able to make it look nice and neat once I was done. So my plan is to, down the road sometime, I will pull the dash back out and I'll rewire or re-loom all the wires and whatnot. But I'm not doing that right now, man. It took me a minute to get that dash in. Everything is working flawlessly. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Then I even took my steering column down, took it out, went through that because they were saying that sometimes your turn signal switch could be stuck, and so it was just a pain, man. And like I said, the thing that really was throwing me off, and not, was definitely throwing me off, but was really throwing my son off, was on the American Auto Wire. Let me come here to the back. On the American Auto Wire, you see the wires here for the dash. For the tail lights and the turn signals. Well, they use the yellow wire is for your turn signal and your brake, and the other brown wire here is for your driving lights, your running lights, just for your park lights. So I could not for the life of me figure out what the problem was. And let me show you another thing here. This is what I was going off of right here. And I'm doing this because I'm wondering if someone else has come across this same situation. And I looked online and I didn't see not one person making mention about this issue that I had. So if you look here at the Dakota Digital, this is the manual here. I'm not going to go all through this, but I just want to show you. I figured out that it's got to be something with the turn signals and my brakes, because it was my turn signals that were illuminated. Now, granted, if I unplugged my turn signal, or if I unplugged the plug to my brake light switch, then everything worked fine. I just didn't have no brakes. Now, granted, I've said this many times before in my YouTube videos that I'm a novice, I'm a rookie. I don't know a lot of this stuff. A lot of the stuff that I do a trial and error. I try to figure it out myself. And if for whatever reason I'm stumped and I can't do it, then, I'll send it to the shop. Or if my son can't do it, we send it to the shop and let them deal with it. But I was determined. My son was determined. So anyway, I was up all last night till like 1 a.m., guys, in the morning, trying to figure out. I took all my wires out. I was cutting wires, checking grounds, doing this, doing that, swapping out bulbs. Nothing worked. Now, I'm going to show you this right here. Now, again, I did contact Dakota Digital just today to just let them know the challenges that I had and what I had to do, and gave them a suggestion on what I think would be good for those of us who are using their gauges here. Because again, not all of us who are doing this have knowledge of wiring and electrical connections and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, here is the wiring diagram for the Dakota Digital. And if you look right here, it simply says white and black connect to the chassis ground, and then the white and green connect to left turn circuit. The other one is white and black go to a ground, and the white and green connects to a right turn circuit. So those are for the turn signals. And of course, we have these here. The white and black connect to the brake light. That's the brake light. So I thought this was part of my problem, because of this was going to the brake light, and I was having issues with my brakes turning on the turn signals. They weren't flashing. They would just illuminate. So, and this is for the high beam. It goes to a ground chassis. So I connected the ground, and the ground all together and ran it to a ground, which is, you can see right there. And then, of course, this one went to the brake light, and then the other one went to a 12-volt positive, or key on rather. So I did all of that, and I'm not gonna go over and over and over with this. I'm not gonna drag this out. I'm gonna tell you what the problem was. The problem was, like I just showed you in what Dakota Digital tells you to do. They don't say hook the white and green. They don't say hook the white and green wire to the turn circuit in the front. So I had mine connected to the right turn signal at the back, the left turn signal at the back. Everything worked fine, but when I hit the brakes would come on, but it would illuminate my turn signal. So after 2 or 3 days of searching and figuring out, I even took all my plugs off from my Dakota Digital, and I was watching reading a post last night where someone was explaining to someone else about a totally separate issue, and just in that post, it just happened to say, with the Dakota Digital, you just connect the turn signals to the front, and went on blah, 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 blah. And I said, wait a minute, connect to the front. So I ran back into the garage, looked at mine, and sure enough, I had my 2 turn signal connectors connected to the right rear and the left rear of the turn signal wire. And that's what was causing my issue. Swapped them back out. Bam. Everything just set right in place. So with that being said, I just wanted to do this quick video and share that little piece of information, because I couldn't find anything online about wiring up Dakota Digital. Everything that I found on there only referenced ground issues. And again, I called Dakota Digital and talked to them about it, and I said, it might be a good idea to just put in the manual or specify somewhere that those 2 turn signal plugs need to be plugged to the front. Because again, like I said, I'm a novice. I didn't know all of that. I just connected it to where it said a turn signal circuit. Didn't say front or back. So anyhow, did that. Everything is working flawless now, man. All my gauges are on, and I am actually really loving it. I actually took her out for the first time for a quick drive, went around the block a few times, and man, she ran good. She ran really good. Still haven't got my tune yet, but she ran good. I'm thinking about even going and having her wheel alignment put on now, so I can actually get out and do a little bit more test driving and dialing in my my speedo and all. That's the only thing I haven't done yet, is dial in my speedo. But this is the next project here. You can see I got all my stuff out. I'm getting ready to install. I put my shifter in a long time ago, and I just threw a couple of quick tapping screws in there just to hold it in place till I get everything mocked up. And now I know that that's exactly where it's going to be. So now I'm getting ready to throw some of these, gosh, I forget the name of them now, but pressing some of these connectors here so that I can screw in. I was going to go ahead and do the sheet metal screws and just, self-tapping screws rather, and put those in. But then the thing I don't like about those is when you take them out, the more you pull it out, put it back in, it tends to widen out the hole a little bit. So I didn't want to have to do that. Then you got to get a bigger screw, So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do this here. I'm going to put this in there, focus, and then get that locked in. And then I'm going to have to take this. I got this tape on here because I don't want this to go down too far and be hitting up against my transmission. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut this like about right in here somewhere. So it just barely goes past that there with my my little cheap cutoff wheel from Amazon. And I got my little press-in tool right here. So I'm going to do that, and that's probably going to be it for the day. All right, Tube, I'm going to get off of this camera just again, I wanted to just drop that and then just share that with those who might be dealing with some of the same challenges, some of the same issues that I'm dealing or that I was dealing with. Thankfully, it's all good now. Everything is locked in. Dash pops right on. Everything is registering. So yeah, man, it's good to go. The next portion of the build here will be the rear wheelwood disc brake conversion kit. That's next on the agenda. All of the front suspension is done. Wheelwood six pistons up front are done. All of the rear suspension is completely done. Coilovers front, coilovers in the back. The only thing that I haven't done is the wheelwood disc brake conversion kit for the rear. Then once I do that, it'll go to the rear end shop and get my new posi put in, and 373 gears put in. And then after that, she's back to the paint shop. And after that, man, it's game time then. It is go time for sure. All right, Tube. Catch you back on the next one. Peace out.